The unwelcome Discovery Commander Elena Vasquez gripped her command chair as warning alarms blared throughout the bridge of the exploration vessel, Aurora's Dream. Red lights pulsed across every surface while her crew worked frantically at their stations. The ship bucked and rolled as if caught in an invisible storm. "Report!" Elena shouted over the noise, her dark eyes scanning the chaotic displays surrounding her. Dr. Marcus Webb, the ship's chief science officer, looked up from his console with sweat beading on his forehead. "The quantum navigation array is completely fried, Commander. Whatever that energy surge was, it overloaded our entire nav system." Elena felt her stomach drop. They had been conducting a routine survey of an unexplored system when their sensors detected an unusual energy signature. Against protocol, she had ordered them closer to investigate. Now they were paying the price. "Engineering, what's our status?" Elena called out. Kai Patel's voice crackled through the comm system from the engine room. "Hyperdrive is intact, but the navigation computer is toast. We can jump, but we have no idea where we'll end up." Lieutenant Zara Kim turned from her communications station, her face pale. "Commander, I'm picking up multiple signals on long-range sensors. They're not in any database we have." Elena processed this information quickly. They were lost in unknown space, possibly light years from any human territory. With damaged systems and limited supplies, the smart thing would be to attempt a blind jump back toward human space and hope for the best. "Kai, how long for repairs on the nav system?" she asked. "At least 48 hours, assuming I can fabricate the needed components," came the reply. Elena made her decision. "Dr. Webb, what can you tell me about those energy signatures Lieutenant Kim detected?" Marcus studied his readings carefully. "They're artificial, definitely technological in origin. The power outputs are enormous, suggesting a highly advanced civilization. There are at least 12 distinct sources, all moving in formation." "Moving toward us," Zara added quietly. Elena nodded. Running wasn't really an option anyway. If these were hostile aliens with superior technology, a blind hyperspace jump might only delay the inevitable. If they were friendly, this could be humanity's first contact with an advanced alien species. "All hands, this is the commander," Elena announced over the ship's intercom. "We're about to make first contact with an unknown alien species. Remember your training, stay calm, and follow protocols. We represent all of humanity out here." 20 minutes later, the alien ships appeared on their view screen. Elena had seen many impressive sights during her years as an explorer, but these vessels took her breath away. Each ship was massive, easily 10 times the size of the Aurora's Dream. They looked like living creatures made of black metal and pulsing energy, with sleek curves that seemed to flow like water frozen in time. "Magnificent," Dr. Webb whispered, his scientific mind immediately fascinated by the alien engineering. "The hull configuration suggests they've solved the quantum field stability problem we've been working on for decades." "Commander," Zara reported, "I'm receiving a transmission. It's being translated automatically somehow. They're speaking directly into our communication system." "Put it through," Elena ordered. A voice filled the bridge, deep and resonant with an undertone that suggested vast authority. "Unknown vessel, you have violated the sovereign space of the Dominion of Vextar. Prepare to surrender your ship and submit to interrogation. Any resistance will result in your immediate destruction." Elena stood up, straightening her uniform. "This is Commander Elena Vasquez of the human exploration vessel Aurora's Dream. We mean no harm. We're explorers from Earth who suffered a navigation malfunction. We ended up here by accident." There was a long pause. Then the voice returned, sounding puzzled. "Humans. This species is not in our database. You will be boarded for assessment." "Assessment sounds better than destruction," Kai's voice came through, the calm with forced humor. Elena watched as one of the alien ships approached. A beam of energy connected the two vessels, and moments later, 3 alien beings materialized on her bridge in columns of shimmering light. The aliens were unlike anything in human imagination. They stood nearly 8 feet tall with elongated limbs and skin that looked like polished obsidian. Their faces were angular and sharp, with large amber eyes that seemed to glow with inner fire. They wore armor that appeared to be made of the same flowing metal as their ships. The central figure stepped forward. I am Battle Commander Zephon of the Vextar Dominion. You will surrender your vessel and prepare for transport to our capital, for judgment. Elena looked at the imposing alien warrior and did something that surprised everyone, including herself. She smiled. It's an honor to meet you, Battle Commander. This is quite exciting for us. We're humanity's first deep space exploration mission, and you're the first alien species we've encountered. Zephon's glowing eyes narrowed. Exciting? Oh, yes, Dr. Webb chimed in, stepping closer to examine the aliens with obvious fascination. Your transportation technology is remarkable. Molecular reassembly or perhaps quantum tunneling. And that armor material, is it programmable matter? The battle commander looked confused. You are not afraid. Should we be? Elena asked genuinely. You haven't actually threatened us personally. You're just doing your job, protecting your territory. We understand that. Medic Jonas Eriksson had been quietly scanning the aliens with his medical tricorder. Fascinating physiology, he murmured. Your cardiovascular system appears to be far more efficient than ours. Do you have any problems with high-gravity environments? One of the other aliens spoke for the first time. They asked questions about our biology. We're scientists and explorers, Elena explained. It's what we do. We learn about new things. Your species, your technology, your culture. It's all incredibly interesting to us. Zephon seemed to be processing this information with difficulty. Most species plead for mercy when they first encounter the Dominion. Why? Kai asked, emerging from behind his console where he'd been studying the alien technology. I mean, sure, you're impressive and clearly more advanced than us, but you seem reasonable. Besides, we're just as curious about you as you probably are about us. More curious, actually, Lieutenant Kim added. Your language matrix is amazing. How do you achieve real-time translation across completely different linguistic structures? The three aliens exchanged glances that somehow conveyed volumes of silent communication. Finally, Zephon spoke again. You will come with us to Vextar Prime. High Regent Thixol will want to examine you personally. That sounds wonderful, Elena said enthusiastically. We'd love to see your homeworld. Should we follow you, or do you have some kind of tractor beam system? You would willingly accompany us? Zephon asked slowly. Of course, Elena replied. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. First contact with an advanced alien civilization, a chance to visit your capital world, meet your leader. Our mission couldn't have gone better if we'd planned it this way. The alien stood in stunned silence for several moments. Finally, the third alien, who had remained silent until now, spoke in what seemed to be their own language. Elena noticed her translation system was picking up fragments. Unprecedented response. No fear indicators. Genuine curiosity. Zephon turned back to the humans. Your ship will be escorted by our fleet. Do not attempt to deviate from the prescribed course. Understood, Elena nodded. How long is the journey? We'd love to learn more about your culture during the trip. After the aliens had departed, Elena's crew gathered on the bridge. Well, she said, settling back into her command chair. This is certainly more exciting than mapping asteroid fields. Commander, Marcus said quietly, I don't think they expected us to react this way. No, Elena agreed, watching the alien fleet form up around their small ship. They seem to be used to species that fear them, but why should we be afraid? They could have destroyed us already if that was their intention. Their technology is incredible, Kai reported from his station. I've been analyzing the energy signatures from their ships. They're using power sources I can't even identify. And that teleportation system, it's beyond anything we've theorized. Which makes this even more valuable, Elena pointed out. We have a chance to learn from a civilization that's clearly centuries, maybe millennia ahead of us technologically. Lieutenant, Kim looked up from her console. Commander, I've been monitoring their communications. They're definitely talking about us, and the tone suggests they're confused by our behavior. Elena smiled. Good. Confusion is better than hostility. Jonas, what did your scans tell you about their physiology? The medic consulted his readings. They're clearly adapted for a different environment than Earth. Higher gravity, probably different atmospheric composition. But they're definitely biological, not artificial. And they seem healthy. No signs of disease or genetic degradation. Fascinating, Marcus murmured. A successful spacefaring species with biological origins like ours, but evolved on a completely different world. As the Aurora's Dream began its journey toward the alien capital, escorted by the massive Vextar fleet, Elena felt a mixture of excitement and anticipation. This was exactly why she had joined the Deep Space Exploration Program. To push the boundaries of human knowledge and experience. "Attention crew," she announced over the intercom. "We're about to embark on the greatest adventure in human history. Stay alert, stay curious, and remember, we're representing our entire species. Let's make humanity proud." Through the view screen, strange stars wheeled past as they traveled deeper into alien space, toward whatever awaited them at the capital of the Dominion of Vextar. The impossible demonstration. The journey to Vextar Prime took 2 days, during which the human crew continued to amaze their alien escorts with their endless questions and genuine enthusiasm for learning. When they finally arrived at the capital world, even Elena Vasquez had to admit she was impressed. Vextar Prime hung in space like a dark jewel, surrounded by massive orbital structures that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. The planet itself had been extensively modified, with geometric patterns visible from space that suggested continental engineering projects. Ring-shaped stations orbited at various altitudes, connected by streams of energy that pulsed like the heartbeat of some cosmic entity. "Incredible," Dr. Webb breathed, his face pressed to the view screen. "They've turned their entire star system into a single massive machine. The energy management alone must require computational power beyond our comprehension." Commander Vasquez studied the approaching structures with a mixture of awe and professional assessment. "It's impressive, but I have to wonder about redundancy systems. What happens if one of those energy streams fails?" Lieutenant Kim looked up from her station where she had been monitoring alien communications. "Commander, they're directing us to a docking facility on the primary orbital ring, and from what I can intercept of their chatter, word of our arrival has reached the highest levels of their government." As their ship was guided into the docking bay, Elena could see that the facility was designed to accommodate vessels far larger than the Aurora's Dream. Their small exploration ship looked like a toy among the massive alien vessels already docked there. "Stay together, stay alert, and remember our mission," Elena told her team as they prepared to disembark. "We're here to learn and represent humanity with dignity." The docking bay was filled with aliens of various species, she realized with surprise. The Vextar appeared to be the dominant race, but she could see beings that looked like crystalline structures, others that resembled walking plants, and some that seemed to be made entirely of energy held in geometric forms. Battle Commander Zephan met them at the airlock, accompanied by 2 new aliens. One was clearly another Vextar, but older and more elaborately decorated. The other was unlike anything Elena had seen. A flowing, shifting mass of what looked like liquid metal, formed into a roughly humanoid shape. "Commander Vasquez," Zephan said formally, "may I present Scholar Prime Nexus, Chief Researcher for the Dominion, and High Regent Thixol himself." Elena stepped forward and offered a respectful bow. "Your Excellency, Scholar Prime, it's an honor to meet you. Thank you for welcoming us to your magnificent world." High Regent Thixol was massive even by Vextar standards, nearly 9 feet tall with skin that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. His amber eyes burned with an intensity that suggested vast intelligence and perhaps centuries of experience. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "So," Thixol said, studying the human delegation, "these are the beings that do not fear the Dominion. Battle Commander Zephan has reported most unusual behavior from your species. Fear seems counterproductive in a situation like this," Elena replied honestly. "We're explorers. Fear would prevent us from learning." Scholar Prime Nexus flowed closer, its liquid metal form shifting and changing as it moved. When it spoke, its voice was like music made from crystal chimes. "Learning," Yes. Battle Commander Zephon reported that you ask many questions about our technology and culture. This is unprecedented among species we have encountered. What do other species usually do? Dr. Webb asked curiously. They beg for mercy, Thicksall replied bluntly. They offer tribute, territorial concessions, trade agreements, anything to avoid conquest. None have ever shown interest in our technology or asked questions about our physiology. Kai frowned. That seems wasteful. If you encounter a more advanced civilization, the smart thing is to learn from them, not just cower. The three alien leaders exchanged glances that somehow conveyed volumes of silent communication. Finally, Thicksall spoke again. You will be tested. There are challenges that will determine your species' place within the Dominion's hierarchy. Are you prepared? Absolutely, Elena said without hesitation. We love challenges. They were escorted through corridors that seemed to stretch impossibly far in all directions. The architecture was beyond human comprehension, with walls that curved through dimensions that shouldn't exist and lighting that came from everywhere and nowhere at once. Eventually, they arrived at a vast chamber that defied physical laws. The space seemed to be larger inside than outside, with a ceiling that showed real stars rather than any artificial lighting. In the center of the chamber stood a series of structures that looked like abstract sculptures made from crystallized mathematics. Behold the trial of impossibilities, Thicksall announced. Each structure represents a problem that has never been solved. Species that fail these trials become subjects of the Dominion. Those that succeed become allies. Scholar Prime Nexus flowed toward the first structure, which looked like a twisted maze of light and shadow. This is the paradox of infinite recursion. It is a computational problem that requires simultaneous processing of contradictory, logical states. Dr. Webb stepped closer, his scientific mind immediately engaged. Fascinating. It's like Schrödinger's cat expanded into multiple dimensions. The system exists in all possible states until observed, but observation changes the system. Precisely, Nexus chimed. No species has found a solution in 3,000 years of testing. Have you tried quantum superposition? Elena asked. If the system exists in all states simultaneously, you don't solve it by choosing one state. You create a solution that works for all states at once. The liquid metal form of Scholar Prime Nexus suddenly froze solid. Explain. Lieutenant Kim stepped forward, her expertise in communications and systems analysis coming into play. It's like a conversation in a language that hasn't been invented yet. You can't translate it directly, but you can create a framework that allows meaning to emerge naturally. Medic Erickson had been studying the structure from his perspective as a doctor. It reminds me of the human immune system. It doesn't try to identify every possible threat in advance. Instead, it creates adaptive responses that can handle unknown challenges. Kai was already working on his portable engineering toolkit. If we can create a resonance frequency that matches the underlying quantum signature of the paradox, we might be able to stabilize all the states simultaneously instead of trying to choose between them. The three alien leaders watched in growing amazement as the human team worked together, each contributing their unique expertise to approach the problem from different angles. Within an hour, they had created a solution that not only resolved the paradox of infinite recursion, but actually improved its efficiency. Impossible, Thicksall whispered, his glowing eyes wide with disbelief. Not impossible, Elena corrected gently. Just unexpected. That's the beauty of different perspectives working together. Each of us saw a different aspect of the problem. Scholar Prime Nexus flowed rapidly to the second structure, this one looking like a geometric storm frozen in crystal. The theorem of cascading chaos. It represents the problem of controlling exponential system failures in complex networks. Dr. Webb studied the structure for only a few minutes before nodding. It's a classic cascade failure scenario, but scaled up dramatically. The key isn't to prevent the failures. It's to design the system so that failures actually strengthen the remaining network. Like how forest fires can be beneficial to the ecosystem, Jonas added. Sometimes destruction is part of growth. and renewal. Or how the human brain works, Zara contributed. We don't try to prevent neurons from dying. We create redundant pathways so that the network becomes more resilient over time. Once again, the team worked together to create not just a solution, but an improvement to the existing system. Kai's engineering expertise combined with Marcus's theoretical knowledge, Elena's leadership and strategic thinking, Jonas's understanding of biological systems, and Zara's communication and systems analysis to produce an elegant resolution. By the fourth structure, a crowd of alien observers had gathered in the chamber. Representatives from dozens of species watched in fascination as these unknown humans tackled problems that had stumped the galaxy's greatest minds for millennia. High Regent Thixol approached Elena as her team worked on the final challenge. Your species is remarkable. In 3,000 years, no race has solved even one of these trials. You have solved all 7. We had good teachers, Elena replied, nodding toward the alien observers. Watching how your people approach problems gave us insights we wouldn't have had otherwise. You learn from others even while being tested, Thixol mused. This explains much about your behavior. As the human team completed the final trial, transforming the spiral of temporal displacement into a stable chronoton resonance chamber, the assembled aliens erupted in what Elena assumed was applause, though it sounded like a symphony of wind, chimes, crystalline harmonics, and electronic music. Scholar Prime Nexus flowed up to Elena, its liquid metal form shifting into something that might have been a smile. You have accomplished something unprecedented in the history of the Dominion. You have not only solved the impossible, but improved upon our understanding of the problems themselves. It was a group effort, Elena insisted. Each challenge required different skills and perspectives. That's what teams are for. Thixol studied the human delegation with new respect. Your species thinks collectively while maintaining individual creativity. This is a rare combination. The Dominion offers humanity an alliance of equals, not the subjugation we typically impose. That's generous, Elena replied. But we'll need to discuss this with our government. We're just explorers, not diplomats. Of course, Thixol agreed. But understand this. Your species has proven itself worthy of respect. The Dominion will protect human space from any threats while formal negotiations proceed. As the ceremony concluded and the human team prepared to return to their ship, Elena felt a deep sense of satisfaction. They had not only survived first contact with an advanced alien civilization, but had established the foundation for a peaceful relationship between species. Commander, Marcus said quietly as they walked back through the impossible corridors, I think we just changed the course of human history. We did what explorers do, Elena replied with a smile. We stayed curious, we worked together, and we showed the galaxy what humanity is capable of. The rest is up to the people back home. The Aurora's Dream departed Vextar Prime with a full navigation update, detailed star charts of the region, and a promise that human ships would be welcomed throughout Dominion space. As they jumped back toward human territory, Elena couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning of a much larger adventure for humanity among the stars.